In this life, challenges and obstacles will always arise, moments when others doubt you, criticize you, or attempt to break your spirit. Yet the true measure of greatness is not found in how loudly you fight back, but in how calmly you rise above. Power belongs to the one who can master their own emotions, who can walk through storms with an unshaken spirit. When you act as if nothing bothers you, you train your mind to remain steady, your will to remain unbroken, and your vision to stay fixed on the goal ahead. Indifference to negativity is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. For every distraction ignored, every insult left unanswered, every doubt overcome, you move closer to mastery over yourself. And he who conquers self conquers all. Today, learn the art of moving forward as though no obstacle has the power to disturb your peace. Mastering emotional control is the foundation of resilience and success, because emotions, while natural and deeply human, can either elevate us or destroy us depending on how we respond to them. When challenges arise, the instinctive reaction is often to lash out, retreat, or allow frustration to dictate the next step. Yet those who achieve mastery over their emotions understand that reacting impulsively gives away power, while choosing restraint builds strength. Emotional control is not about suppressing feelings or pretending they do not exist. It is about acknowledging them, observing them, and then choosing how to act regardless of what is felt inside. This discipline allows a person to operate from a place of clarity instead of chaos, making decisions that align with their long-term purpose rather than being swept away by temporary turbulence. To master emotional control requires awareness. Every emotion, anger, fear, joy, sadness, carries a message, but the mistake comes when people allow the message to become their identity. When someone insults you, you may feel anger rising, but instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, emotional control means pausing, breathing, and recognizing that your response determines the outcome, not the insult itself. When fear whispers doubts about your ability to succeed, emotional control allows you to hear that whisper without letting it paralyze you. You recognize fear as a passing thought, not a permanent truth. By creating space between the feeling and the action, you develop the freedom to choose a response that serves your growth. Emotional control is also a shield in the pursuit of goals. The path to achievement is filled with setbacks, criticisms, and unforeseen obstacles. Without control, frustration can lead to giving up, envy can create self-doubt, and anger can burn bridges that might have led to opportunity. With control, every setback becomes fuel for growth, criticism becomes noise instead of poison, and envy transforms into motivation. A person in control of their emotions can maintain focus and consistency, while those who are easily shaken by external circumstances fall into patterns of inconsistency that sabotage progress. Another essential aspect of emotional control is learning to direct energy rather than waste it. Emotions are energy in motion, and when directed wisely, they become a powerful force. Anger, for example, can be destructive when unleashed blindly, but when channeled into disciplined training or creative effort, it can build empires. Sadness can drown a person in despair, but when understood and redirected, it can deepen empathy and fuel meaningful change. Mastery is not about extinguishing emotion. It is about harnessing it so it works for you instead of against you. The cultivation of emotional control also brings freedom from external influence. People who are easily provoked become puppets of circumstance, manipulated by every comment, every challenge, every setback. But the one who remains calm in the face of chaos gains a mysterious power, because others cannot predict or dictate their reactions. This kind of inner strength creates respect even from opponents, because stability in times of turmoil is rare and commanding. Emotional control makes you untouchable, not because the world changes, but because you no longer allow the world to dictate how you feel inside. It is a skill developed through practice, not perfection. Each day presents opportunities to master emotions, traffic that tests your patience, conversations that invite anger, failures that stir discouragement. Every time you resist the pull of reaction and choose conscious response, you build another layer of mastery. Over time, emotional control becomes second nature, a quiet strength that allows you to face any circumstance with composure. When you reach this point, life no longer throws you off balance easily, because you have trained yourself to remain steady regardless of what storms arise around you. Detaching from negativity is one of the most powerful practices a person can embrace when striving for peace of mind and inner strength. Negativity exists everywhere, in conversations, environments, news, social media, and even in the thoughts that circulate within our own minds. The danger is not in its existence, but in the grip it gains over us when we allow it to seep into our focus, emotions, and energy. Detachment is not about ignoring reality or pretending struggles do not exist. It is about refusing to give unnecessary power to things that drain rather than build. By learning to step back, to observe without absorbing, one creates a shield that protects their mental state and keeps their attention aligned with what truly matters. When negativity surrounds you, whether in the form of complaints from others or discouraging situations, the instinct may be to engage, argue, or dwell. Yet the more energy given to negativity, the stronger it becomes in shaping your perspective. Detachment offers an alternative path. It teaches you to see negativity for what it is, temporary, powerless, and often a reflection of someone else's mindset rather than your own truth. By not attaching your identity or emotions to it, you disarm its influence. This allows you to carry on with clarity instead of being clouded by the weight of someone else's bitterness, criticism, or despair. Detachment does not mean indifference to people or circumstances. It means discernment. It is the ability to choose what deserves your energy and what does not. A negative comment from a colleague, for instance, may sting for a moment, but when you detach, you remind yourself that it is simply an opinion, not a definition of your worth. A challenging environment may test your patience, but detachment allows you to see it as a condition to be endured or overcome, not as a permanent reflection of your reality. In this way, detachment preserves your inner strength while still allowing you to act with wisdom and responsibility in the external world. Negativity thrives on reaction. It feeds when you argue with it, worry about it, or replay it endlessly in your mind. By detaching, you cut off its supply of energy. Instead of reacting emotionally, you remain calm, centered, and unmoved. This calmness often disarms negativity itself, because without resistance or participation, it loses power. People who embody detachment often notice how critics, complainers, and negative influences no longer find satisfaction in trying to bring them down, because their attempts fall flat. The power lies not in fighting negativity, but in refusing to carry it. Training yourself to detach begins with awareness of your own internal dialogue. Negative thoughts often creep in silently, shaping your mood without notice. By observing them and choosing not to engage, you weaken their grip. When you catch yourself repeating self-doubts, catastrophizing the future, or clinging to resentment from the past, detachment allows you to pause and step back, saying to yourself, "This is just a thought, not the truth." By treating thoughts as clouds passing through the sky rather than permanent realities, you regain control over your mind and energy. Another vital practice in detachment is surrounding yourself with uplifting influences. While it is impossible to avoid negativity entirely, you can decide how much space it occupies in your life. Choosing environments, people, and habits that foster positivity makes detachment easier, because your focus shifts naturally toward growth rather than conflict. Over time, as you grow accustomed to this practice, you become less reactive, less consumed by drama, and more anchored in peace. Detachment creates a state of mental freedom where negativity no longer dictates your path, because your focus remains firmly rooted in strength, clarity, and forward movement. Responding with calm instead of reaction is one of the greatest disciplines a person can cultivate, because it separates the impulsive from the intentional, the weak from the strong, and the ordinary from the extraordinary. Life presents countless triggers, moments where anger, frustration, or fear rise quickly and tempt us to act without thinking. In those moments, reaction feels natural, almost unavoidable, yet it rarely serves us well. A reaction is impulsive, emotional, and often destructive, while a calm response is deliberate, measured, and rooted in wisdom. The difference between the two can determine whether you escalate conflict or resolve it, whether you damage a relationship or strengthen it, whether you make a mistake or create progress. To respond with calm requires mastery of self. It demands awareness of the emotions that arise in the heat of the moment and the strength to pause before acting on them. The pause is the key, because it creates space between stimulus and action, allowing reason to enter where emotion once dominated. In that space, clarity emerges, and with clarity comes better choices. Instead of shouting back when insulted, you might choose silence, or a composed statement that ends the tension. Instead of panicking when faced with a setback, you might assess the situation and take the first step toward a solution. Calm does not mean weakness or surrender. It means control, direction, and strength under pressure. Reaction often comes from the ego's need to defend itself. When someone criticizes or challenges us, the ego flares up, pushing us to protect pride with words or actions that usually intensify conflict. But calm allows us to see beyond the ego, to realize that not every comment requires a defense, not every challenge needs immediate retaliation. By responding with calm, you conserve energy for what truly matters and avoid unnecessary battles that waste time and drain focus. This practice transforms not only how you handle others, but also how you handle yourself, because the calm response applies equally to external situations and internal struggles. When disappointment, failure, or fear arises, the instinctive reaction is to give in to despair, self-doubt, or impulsive decisions meant to escape discomfort. But a calm response looks at the bigger picture. It asks questions: what can I learn from this? What step can I take next? How will this matter 5 years from now? These questions shift the mind from chaos to clarity, ensuring that decisions are made from strength rather than weakness. Calmness becomes a compass that keeps you aligned with your values and goals instead of being tossed about by temporary emotion. The power of calm responses is also evident in leadership and influence. People naturally gravitate toward those who remain steady in storms, because calmness inspires trust and confidence. A leader who reacts impulsively creates instability, while a leader who responds with calm sets the tone for resilience and composure within a group. In personal relationships, calm responses prevent arguments from escalating and create space for understanding, allowing bonds to deepen instead of fracture. In personal growth, calm responses foster patience, persistence, and long-term thinking, all of which are essential for success in any pursuit. Cultivating this discipline requires practice, because calmness under pressure does not come naturally. It begins with mindfulness, being aware of emotions as they rise and catching yourself before reacting. It continues with intentional habits such as deep breathing, reflection, and choosing silence when words would do more harm than good. Over time, this practice rewires your natural tendencies so that calm becomes the default instead of reaction. What once triggered an outburst becomes an opportunity to demonstrate strength. What once overwhelmed becomes manageable, and what once shook your balance becomes a chance to stand firmly. Responding with calm, not reaction, transforms challenges into stepping stones, criticism into noise, and adversity into an arena where true strength is revealed. Focusing on long-term vision is the discipline that separates those who drift aimlessly from those who achieve greatness, because it gives direction, stability, and clarity to every decision. Without a vision, the present becomes a series of random events dictated by circumstances and emotions. But with a clear long-term focus, even the most difficult challenges take on meaning. A long-term vision acts like a compass that guides you through distractions, setbacks, and temptations that might otherwise derail your progress. It reminds you of the bigger picture, the ultimate goal that is worth enduring short-term discomforts for. When you hold a vision firmly in your mind, you begin to make choices that align with it rather than choices that merely satisfy the moment. The difficulty for many people is that the present often feels more urgent than the future. The mind wants immediate gratification, the comfort of quick rewards, and the relief of avoiding struggle. But short-term comfort usually costs long-term success. To focus on vision means training yourself to delay gratification, to endure discipline now for the sake of a future that is far more rewarding. It means sacrificing certain pleasures, ignoring certain distractions, and persisting through periods of slow progress because you trust in the outcome that lies ahead. Every action, no matter how small, becomes a brick laid on the foundation of that vision, and over time, those bricks form a structure that others may call achievement, but you will know as the result of unwavering focus. Long-term vision also protects you from being shaken by temporary failures. When setbacks occur, people without vision see them as endings, but those with vision see them as lessons along the journey. Because the destination remains clear, the obstacles lose their power to stop you. They may slow you down, they may test your resolve, but they cannot defeat you as long as your eyes stay fixed on the horizon. This mindset transforms failure from a source of despair into a stepping stone for growth. because you understand that each challenge refines your character, strengthens your skills, and prepares you for the weight of your future success. Another strength of focusing on long-term vision is the ability to resist external influences that try to pull you off course. The world is full of noise, opinions, criticisms, trends that can distract or discourage those without a strong sense of direction. But when you are rooted in vision, these distractions lose their grip. You understand that not every opportunity is meant for you, not every voice deserves your attention, and not every path will take you where you intend to go. Vision allows you to say no with confidence because you know what you are saying yes to. It helps you conserve energy, time, and resources for what truly matters instead of scattering them on pursuits that look appealing but lead nowhere. Focusing on vision is also a powerful source of motivation. On days when the effort feels heavy, when results are not visible, and when doubt begins to whisper, the vision reminds you why you started. It paints a picture of what is possible if you remain consistent, and that picture fuels persistence. It gives meaning to discipline, turning routine into ritual and sacrifice into investment. Vision transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary by tying today's actions to tomorrow's greatness. Cultivating focus on long-term vision requires constant reinforcement. You must remind yourself daily of the goal, visualize it with clarity, and align your choices with it. This focus is not something achieved once, but something practiced repeatedly until it becomes ingrained in your thinking. As it strengthens, you will find that your perspective shifts. You stop being consumed by minor setbacks, you stop chasing fleeting pleasures, and you begin to live with intention. Every day becomes a step toward a future you have already chosen. And in that choice lies the true power of focusing on long-term vision. Protecting your inner peace is one of the most valuable commitments you can make to yourself, because it is the foundation of clarity, strength, and resilience. Without inner peace, the mind becomes clouded, easily shaken by external circumstances, and vulnerable to the chaos of the world. With it, you remain steady no matter what storms arise around you. Inner peace does not mean that life will be free of difficulties, or that negativity will vanish from your path, but it does mean that you develop the ability to move through challenges without allowing them to destroy your balance. It is the calm center within that keeps you aligned with your purpose, your values, and your vision even when everything else feels uncertain. To protect your inner peace, you must first recognize that it is yours to guard. The world will constantly try to intrude upon it through distractions, demands, conflicts, and pressures. People will project their frustrations onto you, situations will test your patience, and circumstances will tempt you to surrender to stress and chaos. But peace is not given by the world, it is created and preserved within you. That means the responsibility to defend it rests entirely in your hands. Protecting it requires disciplined boundaries and awareness of what drains you versus what strengthens you. One of the greatest threats to inner peace is engagement with negativity. When you absorb every criticism, replay every failure, or dwell on every disappointment, your mind becomes a battlefield that robs you of calm. Protecting peace means stepping back, detaching from what does not serve you, and choosing where to place your focus. You cannot control what others say or do, but you can control whether you give their words and actions space in your heart. By refusing to carry unnecessary burdens, you free your energy to remain anchored in peace. Another way to protect inner peace is through boundaries. Not every conversation deserves your presence. Not every request deserves your energy, and not every conflict deserves your participation. Learning to say no is an act of protection, because every yes you give to what drains you is a no to your own well-being. Boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They are gates that decide what enters and what does not. They are how you preserve the sacred space of your mind and spirit, ensuring that chaos and toxicity cannot invade. When you practice boundaries consistently, you begin to notice how much calmer and more focused your life becomes. Peace is also protected through self-care practices that strengthen the mind and body. A tired, neglected body invites stress and overwhelm. Restless mind magnifies problems. Taking time to rest, to reflect, to nourish yourself, and to connect with stillness is not indulgence, it is defense. It fortifies you so that when difficulties come, you face them from a place of stability rather than exhaustion. Protecting peace requires creating rituals of calm, whether through meditation, prayer, journaling, or quiet walks, that allow you to reset and realign. These practices serve as reminders that peace is not found outside of you, but cultivated within. Finally, protecting inner peace requires choosing perspective. Life will never be free of problems, but your interpretation of those problems determines whether they consume you or teach you. When you view challenges as temporary, failures as lessons, and criticism as noise, you deny them the power to disturb your core. Perspective allows you to rise above circumstances instead of sinking beneath them. It is the steady voice that reminds you that peace is not dependent on perfection in life, but on your ability to remain calm, centered, and unshaken in the midst of imperfection. Inner peace, once protected, becomes a shield that allows you to live with strength, clarity, and quiet confidence regardless of what unfolds around you. Projecting unshakable confidence is not about arrogance or pretending to be something you are not. It is about carrying yourself with a sense of certainty that comes from within. Confidence is magnetic. It draws opportunities, earns respect, and inspires trust. When people sense stability and assurance in you, they are more likely to follow your lead, believe in your abilities, and support your vision. But the most important impact of projecting confidence is the way it influences your own mind. When you project strength outwardly, you reinforce strength inwardly. It becomes a cycle where your posture, tone, and actions fuel your belief in yourself, and that belief reflects back into how the world responds to you. Unshakable confidence does not mean you never feel doubt or fear. It means you do not allow those feelings to control how you show up. Everyone faces uncertainty, but the confident person steps forward despite it. They understand that fear is natural, but they refuse to let it dictate their actions. They know that doubt whispers in every mind, but they choose to listen to the voice of determination instead. This choice is what makes their confidence appear unshakable, because even when doubt is present, they do not let it be visible or dominant. They remain composed. Projecting confidence begins with body language. Before a word is spoken, your presence communicates volumes. Standing tall, maintaining eye contact, moving with purpose, and carrying yourself with calm composure signals strength. Even when you feel unsure inside, training yourself to embody these behaviors creates a powerful impression. Over time, these outward actions begin to influence your inner state, because the body and mind are deeply connected. When you act as though you are confident, your mind begins to align with that state, and what began as practice becomes reality. Another crucial aspect of projecting unshakable confidence is speaking with conviction. The way you use your voice, your tone, clarity, and pace reflects your inner certainty. Speaking too quickly, hesitating, or softening every statement with uncertainty weakens your presence. But when you speak calmly, directly, and with steady energy, people listen differently. They sense your confidence not only in what you say, but in how you say it. This does not mean you must always have the perfect answer, but it does mean you communicate with the assurance that you believe in what you are saying and that you stand firmly behind your words. Confidence is also projected through the decisions you make. Indecision signals doubt, while decisiveness signals clarity and control. Even when the outcome is uncertain, making a choice with determination shows that you trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. This does not mean reckless choices, but choices made with thought, commitment, and the willingness to adapt if needed. People respect those who take responsibility for their direction, and each decisive step you take reinforces the image of unshakable confidence. Protecting confidence requires aligning it with preparation. True confidence grows from competence. When you know you have prepared, learned, and worked for your goals, you naturally exude assurance. Preparation removes the fuel for insecurity, because you can lean on your knowledge and effort instead of worrying about being unready. This combination of preparation and projection makes your confidence not only visible but believable, because it is grounded in substance rather than surface. Ultimately, projecting unshakable confidence is about choosing consistency. It is about showing up with the same strength, whether you are celebrated or criticized, whether you succeed or stumble. It is about refusing to let external circumstances shake the way you carry yourself. When people see that your confidence is steady regardless of outcome, they begin to trust that your strength is real. And as you continue to project that confidence, you teach your own mind to believe in your resilience, creating a cycle where inner strength and outer presence reinforce one another until they become inseparable. When you learn to master emotional control, Detach from negativity, respond with calm instead of reaction, focus on your long-term vision, protect your inner peace, and project unshakable confidence. You rise above the noise of the world and step into a higher version of yourself. These principles are not abstract ideas, but daily practices that shape your character, sharpen your discipline, and strengthen your spirit. The power lies not in avoiding challenges, but in meeting them with composure, clarity, and conviction. By refusing to be swayed by distractions, by standing firm in your vision, and by carrying yourself with quiet strength, you become untouchable to the forces that break ordinary men and women. Life will always test you, but when you act as though nothing can disturb your peace, you declare that no obstacle, no critic, and no storm has the power to take away the calm and confidence you have built within yourself.